This is where the big action is going to be in much less than 24 hours from now. This is match day -1, eve of India versus Pakistan. What you see behind me right now is the Indian team hard at work, hard at practice on the eve of that big game, making their last minute preparations under lights, because that's one thing that the Indian team really wanted to do, was practice under lights. It's going to be a day and night encounter. The big update from here is going to be regarding the weather, because a lot of talk about whether that game will be washed out or not. I'll give you all the latest updates when it comes to the weather. But first, it's time to introduce the two experts that are joining us live on the program. Joining me live, Harbhajan Singh as well as Sunny Gavaskar, and we'll pick their brains as to what is the right combination that India must go with. How is it that the Indian batters can deal with some outstanding Pakistan pacers? Because that is the big talking point right here in Pallekele at the moment. But first, let's take a look at what the two captains had to say. Rohit Sharma, the Indian captain, came and spoke to the media. He was very measured in his press conference, saying that, we're not looking at it as just a high-pressure India-Pakistan game. We're here to play a tournament, and our focus is on that. Babar Azam, on the other hand, said he enjoys India versus Pakistan. He enjoys the fact that fans wait for this game. Like the fans, he and his team are also waiting for this game. They want to play this game. And very interestingly, he mentioned that his team might have a slight advantage, considering they played a lot of cricket leading up to the Asia Cup right here in Sri Lanka. Let's listen in to the two captains on the eve of the match.
What have you got, Nawaz? Ashwin, go!
So then, Nikhil is giving us updates. If you heard him, there were some net sessions taking place in the background where Nikhil stands. He's there in Pallekele. That's where the action is going to be happening tomorrow. And what we're going to be doing, it's let's say a new sort of a dugout that we're doing today. Some of you who've been with us over all these months and years, I would say, would know that we do it very often. So we're going to be tossing back to Nikhil every now and then, but simultaneous chat continues here in the India Today Sports Today studio as well.
Yep, 20 hours and 26 minutes to go for this clash, which many people have always been hyping it about. India versus Pakistan.
It's worth the hype.
It's worth the hype at the Pallekele International Cricket Stadium. Remember, these two are playing Asia Cup ODI in Sri Lanka after 13 years. And this is only the fourth time that they'll be playing.
And between themselves playing after 4 years, an ODI match.
ODI match.
They've
yes.
played T20I cricket against each other. And by the way, it's even Stevens if you look at the last 4 T20I encounters. 2021, Pakistan thrashing India by 10 wickets. Then the Asia Cup match with 2 balls to spare, Hardik Pandya so gets you the winning runs with that 6 of Nawaz.
Yep.
Then Pakistan return the favor, make it 1-1 in the Asia Cup,
Yep.
but overall they are now 2-1 ahead because they win in the later stages of the Asia Cup. And then of course a match that many people remember for obvious reasons, that crazy knock from Virat Kohli.
I would call it the otherworldly knock by Virat Kohli.
Yeah, that was some next level stuff.
Kohli goes down the ground, Kohli goes out
of the ground. You will remember it for the stroke picking, you will remember it for the narrative of it being an India-Pakistan World Cup clash, you will remember it for the commentary, as Siddharth, my dear friend, remembers it.
And as you may say, a kind of a shot that defied even science and physics. A 400 shot straight down the MCG, which is
150 Ks.
At 150 K. That too a back of the line delivery, which is sticking on the wicket, 28 of 8, and he pulls out a shot which defies science. As I said, other
match, so there will be no pressure. That's because there is no India-Pakistan match without the pressure of performance. And that pressure will be doubled when you consider the fact that this game comes exactly a month before the big Cricket World Cup. So in the sense, this is the start of the road to the Cricket World Cup. Whatever happens here will have a bearing on how these two teams perform at the cricket's biggest showpiece event. This is Nikhil Naz at the Pallekele International Stadium for India Today. Okay, so that's how the two teams are prepping up. As I mentioned a short while ago, behind me, the Indian team hard at practice. Joining us live now, Sunny Gavaskar and Harbhajan Singh to discuss the game. Sunny, let me start with you. The fact that Pakistan and Babar Azam also alluded to that during the press conference, the fact that Pakistan have been playing a lot of cricket together as a team leading up to this Asia Cup. They had a series versus Afghanistan. They've already played one game at the Asia Cup, whereas the Indian team coming a bit cold. The full strength Indian team wasn't playing at the West Indies. After that, you had a preparatory camp in Bangalore, still not playing international cricket. In that regard, do you reckon Pakistan have a slight advantage going into this game?
Well, they certainly have the advantage of game time under their belt, and game time against top quality of opponents like Afghanistan. Afghanistan pushed them in the matches that they played against Nepal. It might have been an easy win, but at the end of the day, game time is certainly an invaluable commodity, and Pakistan have it. But then, of course, once the toss is done and the first ball is bowled, then it's up. Everything is again level pegging.
Okay, Harbhajan, let me extend that question to you. How do you reckon the Indian team's preparation have been, and how do you view that, considering, instead of getting some game time under their belt ahead of such a crucial encounter, they chose to have a practice camp. Coach Rahul Dravid was very keen to do that. They wanted to iron out a few things, and Rohit did mention today in the press conference that they have ironed out a few issues. But overall, how do you see India's preparation vis-a-vis Pakistan's preparation going into this very, very crucial encounter?
Well, I do believe India must be ready for this game. They have been practicing hard. Of course, last tour of West Indies, not many players like, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, they were not part of the series. But, India-Pakistan is always a special game, whenever they are against each other. It's a high-pressure game. Knowing that Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, and the other guys will be very keen to go out there on the park tomorrow and showcase their talent. And of course, hopefully, India get the right result as well. I'm quite hopeful.
Well, Saina, you mentioned a short while ago that all this talk about how the teams are preparing is one thing. Once the first ball is bowled, all of that is out of your mind. Rohit Sharma in the press conference did talk about how some of the players that are injured getting up. The likes of Shreyas Iyer, he said, is looking good. Jasprit Bumrah, he said, is looking very, very good. He's very buoyant about his fast bowling attack. But how do you see these players coming back from injury? Shreyas Iyer, Jasprit Bumrah, the two big names, you reckon they can hit their stride straight away? Or will it take time for them to easily get back into that groove?
Not at all. I don't think it's an unsettled team. It's just that, some of the senior players that took a break to be ready and to be fresh for this tournament and the World Cup that is going to happen. I don't think you can say that the Indian team is unsettled. I think it's just maybe a question mark about one or two positions. But that happens occasionally in just about every game because, it all depends on form, etc. I don't think the team is unsettled at all. I think this team looks very good to me. And maybe, we're talking about the number 4. The number 4 might not be required to bat at all because the top 3 are such good batters in the Indian team capable of playing against any attack that the number 4 becomes perhaps inconsequential if, the top 3 bat 44, 45 overs. Number 4 position is, anybody can come in and bat.
Okay, top 3 of India, yes, one of the best in the world. But then I'm assuming, Zainai, you are talking about a Shubman Gill, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. And the reason I'm asking you about that top order, because there was a school of thought saying that, listen, Ishan Kishan now will have to play. He's a top order batsman. Why get him down to bat in the middle order? Let him bat in the top order. For that, you might have to make a few adjustments. Maybe Rohit at 3, Virat at 4, or maybe Ishan at 3, Virat at 4. But for you, the top 3 should remain like that, Virat at number 3.
The best player must bat the maximum number of overs, and at number 3, he gets the opportunity to bat the maximum number of overs. So, as far as I'm concerned, no, I think that's a place where he's been enormously successful. He's been, he's contributed how many? 44 hundreds in that position, maybe 43, and maybe once in another position. But if he scored so many hundreds in one day cricket and batting at number 3, why shift it?
Okay, you're talking about the top three, and you said your best batter should be batting in the top of the order, and there's no doubt about the fact, Shanibai, that India's best batters include Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. Now, big game temperament is a big thing. Rohit Sharma spoke about that in the press conference. He said, there is a lot of talk about the conditions, swing on off a spin friendly track, but you know what? We have players in our batting lineup that have played on every sort of condition in every part of the world. And we are going to draw upon that experience to prevail over Pakistan. You reckon once again the onus is going to be on a Rohit Sharma and a Virat Kohli. If India are to win, one of them or possibly even both really need to step up.
Yeah, there is always pressure on senior players. Of course, Virat and Rohit Sharma need to lead from the front with scoring those runs, what India would need. And someone like Shubman Gill, who will be playing his first game against Pakistan, high voltage game, he would be very keen out to go out there and perform. I do believe, India is ready for this competition, and there's no doubt about that pressure will be huge on Virat and Rohit to perform in this game because they are the most senior players, but they have always come good against Pakistan. And hopefully, even this game tomorrow they will come good.
Okay, I'm going to go back to Sunny Gavaskar now. Sunny, I hope you can hear me. I tried to ask you the previous question, but I'll have another go. Because you spoke about the top three, the best batters have to bat there, in which case the question now will be, where does Ishan Kishan bat? What we can confirm to you on India today, from what we're hearing, yes, there are two wicketkeeper batters to look at in Sanju Samson and Ishan Kishan. But in the pecking order, Ishan Kishan is clearly ahead. He's going to be that wicketkeeper batter for India in the 11. But my question to you, Sanjay, is where do you then bat him? Because I had mentioned earlier, you want Virat and Rohit to be the top three. Then does Ishan come much lower down the order, or 4 is good enough for him?
I'd like to, like I said, he could be the finisher. So you could have a situation where the first three batters have batted 42, 41 overs and put up to maybe 200 runs in those 42 or maybe 190. And then in the last 6, 7 overs, you need somebody like Ishan Kishan to smash the ball around and then maybe have a Hardik Pandya, Jadeja coming into bat according to the need of the situation. But at this particular point of time, you would certainly want to have Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma open the batting.
Okay, fair enough. That's an interesting thought, that maybe look at Ishan Kishan as the finisher. We all know that he does have those big shots and he can play those big shots without any worry whatsoever in the world as to, playing conventional cricket. Sometimes that tends to help a young batter when he is trying to make a mark in that playing 11. Overall, Saida, we're looking at the teams, how they are batting, but I have this particular question with regards to not just tomorrow's match, but India's preparation to the World Cup. After all, our program is also called Road to the World Cup. We're looking at the team's performance leading up to that showpiece event. KL Rahul is not here. That's why we are having this conversation about Ishan Kishan. KL Rahul is not here. Well, it seems like from the team management that they're pretty certain he'll be back for the third game, and they seem to have a lot of faith in him. That is that wicketkeeper batter that they want to go with for the World Cup. Do you think that it's all right to have this sort of a faith on a player who's had a lot of niggles just leading up to this Asia Cup and World Cup? Do you think that's a gamble, or you think no, there is enough time and the Indian team can wait on a player like KL?
Well, firstly, I think the fact that he's not on is possibly because of the fact that he wants treatment to be continued at the hands of the same physios who've been treating him at the NCA, and he'd probably be at the NCA. But then, yes, I think it's a tricky situation, because if he's not playing any game before the 5th of September, how do you assess the situation? Because look, practice fitness is one thing, match fitness is another thing. So I think it's going to be a tough call for the Indian selection committee. But maybe that can be you might get the answer in the first 2 matches itself, and in which case you might have to look beyond Rahul. But that's going to be sad. But then that's the reality, because you can't take chances with an Indian player. I'm all for taking him because of the fact of he's always been a classy player. But if he's not going to be seen in a match situation before the World Cup squad is announced, I think it looks tough for him to be in the World Cup squad.
That is a very interesting point that Sunny Gavaskar makes there on our program, and probably he's hit the nail on the head when he says that yes, it's all right to have a lot of faith in a player, but if you haven't seen him at all, not even for one game, then is it prudent to be picking up for an important tournament like the World Cup? And as things stand right now, we get to see none of KL Rahul ahead of that World Cup squad selection because India play their second game on the 4th. KL is not available for either the Pakistan game or the Nepal game, and the squad selection is on the 5th, and you wouldn't have seen KL Rahul play even one international match ahead of that. So it'll be interesting whether the chairman of selectors, whether the selection committee, the captain and the coach are also on the same path as Mr. Gavaskar, are thinking along the same lines as far as KL Rahul's selection for the World Cup is concerned. That's going to be a big talking point leading up to that selection, and we'll be bringing you all the live updates from right here in Sri Lanka. Right now, I'm coming to you live from Pallekele. Let me quickly give you another update because a lot of talk is around the weather, whether the game will happen or not. Let me tell you, it's been cloudy the whole day, but it hasn't rained in Pallekele. It has rained in Kandy, very close to this place, and most of the weather forecasts that you're seeing are pertaining to Kandy, where it rains a lot. But in Pallekele, like yesterday, you had the Sri Lanka versus Bangladesh game without much interruption and a full game at that. Expect in India-Pakistan game also to happen. Weather prediction of rain is pertaining to Kandy, which is about 30 minutes to 40 minutes from here. So that is good news that I'm bringing you from Pallekele, where all the action will be. Sunny Gavaskar, Harbhajan Singh, thank you so much for taking our time, setting up that game for us. But a little bit more to come on the program. Remember, India-Pakistan have played a lot of crucial encounters in the recent past. We're calling it a 50-50 clash. Why are we saying it is a 50-50 clash? Because in the recent memory, both teams have had wins and losses. In fact, it's a dead heat, tied at 2-all. Take a look at the last 4 encounters between these two teams.
Okay, last 4 encounters Nikhil spoke of, and if you've been with us, we did touch upon that just a short while back. Do go back because we did speak of those last 4 encounters. But building up now to the 5th encounter, we're done away with the previous 4. Now down to business for the 5th encounter, a first ODI between the two sides in about 4 years' time.
From but let me Trafford, you're going to Pallekele.
Exactly. That's a big distance that the two teams have covered, and long way that the two have come as well. But just to put you guys in the spot, let's say, and because of course dil se to ek hi awaaz aati hai, but let's just we heard from the experts as well, but if we are to weigh in as well and talk about which team sort of looks like the better positioned at the moment, who would that be for you, Siddharth? And maybe Gargi, you can answer that as well.
First, Gargi.
I think at this point I have to go with India, not because dil se ek hi awaaz aati hai, but also because we've looked at Pakistan's batting at this moment, and we talked about it yesterday as well, that Pakistan batting looks like it's revolving around Babar Azam at this point, and there's no one else that could come and take the charge for Pakistan. So I think India takes the win over there, but Pakistan bowling on the other hand is one to watch out for, but still I think India has the edge.
I will say, see, there is nothing, I don't believe in all this dil se ki awaaz aata India. It's in the end a sport where two nations compete, and look, the pros that Pakistan have is they have played in Sri Lanka 3 matches prior to the Asia.
So they've been there for a good
most of the
2.5 weeks.
Most of the players have even played in the Lanka Premier League as
well.
So they are accustomed to conditions in Pallekele, in Ambantota, in Colombo, all those places. But on the other hand, see, Pakistan's batting also, if you looked at the Afghanistan encounters, kind of the lower order had to bundle them out in some games. Babar Azam showed his intent in the first game against Nepal, but we are reading too much into the Nepal game. It was expected to happen.
Yeah.
The bowling, as I may say, but then apart from Haris, Shaheen and Naseem, Shadab to a certain extent, but the spin quality does not make me that excited about it. So
Shadab and Nawaz don't excite you as much.
And the worst part about it is, if you look at ODIs versus India,
yeah,
the combined unit has decided that, okay, Haris, Naseem and Shaheen, combined they have played only 1 ODI. And out of that, it was Shaheen who last played in 2018.
Yeah.
And Naseem and Haris are going to play for the first time.
Yeah.
Big game experience, big game issues, pressure. India-Pakistan is not for the faint-hearted. I mean, anybody can collapse under pressure. Nawaz also, he understood the pressures. He's been at it 2 times.
One as a winner, the other time he got
No,
the treatment.
2 times, nah. The first match, Hardik Pandya hit him for a 6.
That's what I'm saying. One he's
T20
been there,
World Cup.
exactly. One as a winner, the other time he got the treatment.
2
So-
times.
So he's seen both sides of the coin.
Both sides of the coin. So, it's a very even contest, I would say. But because India have not played, all these guys have not played together as a unit
That's true.
for close to 6 months.
That is one of the biggest concerns for the Indian team.
And one thing that Sunil Gavaskar, the former India captain, has been consistently saying on Sports Today in our interactions, he's been saying that I don't care about gym fitness. I care about match fitness.
That's exactly
Match
what he said right now as well.
preparedness.
Yeah.
That is the reason why it is a big issue at this point in time. So, it is a kind of a catch-22. There are no clear-cut favorites in this, but I will say that going by experience and the conditions, I think a slight edge to Pakistan. I won't be tempted to rule out Pakistan totally. Like I think Sunil Gavaskar just said, we won't even need number 4 or number 5.
Again, maybe I don't sort of, and of course he's a Sunil Gavaskar, so he can say that. But I'm not too sure if, I sort of buy into that at the moment. I'm pretty sure at some point, and given how the 2 games have panned out, at some point you need those answers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let's say, hypothetically, even if the top order is to bail you out tomorrow or just do the job for you tomorrow, you need to have definitive answers and a definitive plan. So at some point you need to be sure who's your 4, 5, 6 or 7 if you are thinking of tinkering with the middle order. Whether you do it or not is a matter of conversation and something that only time will now tell.
But
There are questions of this batting order. There are questions because whatever you do now, be it Ishan Kishan playing up top, be it him playing in the middle order or him being the finisher, which is also a proposition that has now been floated around and is being talked about and advocated as well. Somebody, even Sunil Gavaskar, by the way, backed Ishan Kishan for him being a finisher. So more and more momentum to that thought. Again, we've not seen any of that happen.
Yeah.
We have not seen any of that happen.
I'll just say one thing in this, okay? Because India's problem might come from your number 4 or number 5. Although Sunil Gavaskar said that we may not need it. Although that optimism that he has is not, he's not saying it out of the blue. Because you look at the last 3 ODIs that you look at it. Victory by 8 wickets, victory by 9 wickets, victory by 89 runs. India have actually dominated Pakistan. And if you look at it in the Asia Cup, they have not lost ODI Asia Cup to Pakistan since 2008 or 9.
So that's the only thing with, again, also it is very difficult, like you said, for me as well, and I'm in that camp or minority, I would say. I'm not too sure if there's many people who join us in that minority at the moment. I too feel that for some reason this is a competition between 2 equal forces, let's say, and I want to give Pakistan a slight edge. And so perhaps for me, if I were to put a number to it, maybe a 51-49 as things stand. India, even though they don't have the kind of match practice and momentum that Pakistan do, the fact that our batsmen have showed some frailties against spin, that worries me a little. The top order, like it used to, and we seldom make this comparison about the World Cup winning score of 21. Again, we're not firing on all cylinders as far as the top order is concerned at the moment. Of course, there's still a lot of time to go for the World Cup, and if there is a wake-up call, let's say, if you need things to fall in order and in line, this has to be the tournament where, let's say, you can graduate and you can gradually sort of reach that high levels as well come the final, which will be on the 17th of September. So, and there is no harm, by the way, when you say, and if I'm saying 49-51 at the moment, India still go in with an equal chance. But I don't think it's going to be, let's say, the one-sided encounter which we saw back in 2021.
Yeah.
I don't see a one-sided
Or
encounter
maybe all
here.
the past ODIs of 2019, 2018, 2017.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been extreme. 2017 was
India-
extreme. India won the first match of 124.
India have the wherewithal. It's not to say India don't have the wherewithal. It's just that India don't have the game time at the moment. India
But what
don't.
about the West Indies series?
Again, there
Yeah,
was a
Darby.
different side.
Yeah.
There was a different side playing.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. That wasn't the core team that is playing right now, and that's the biggest concern, isn't it? That our core team hasn't been playing together for, like you said, 6 months now, and that is in cricket. That is a long time.
Yep.
Even 2 months, if you're not playing with the same team, that's going to cause you problems. And to think that some of our players have been injured. They have not played any matches apart from NCA match simulations or
drills,
practice matches. And then Jasprit Bumrah, who's also coming in from an injury, and like Rahul Dravid said that day, that they'll be taking it slowly, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, although he did
Yeah.
look at his best in the two T20
Yeah, we
against.
did,
yeah.
but that was a T20 again,
Yeah.
4 overs. That's
4
all.
overs, yep.
And then the fact that we're talking right now about where Ishan Kishan will come in, where does Rohit Sharma go, I think that's also a big concern, because if India was at its best at the moment, we wouldn't be having all these questions.
But again, there is a reason why Pakistan might suffer a bit also, because I said a slight edge to Pakistan, but remember, Pakistan's batting, look at this new age of ODIs. Look at this new age of ODIs wherein you see the likes of Australia, England, New Zealand and South Africa are trying. But England and Australia seem to have mastered it.
Yeah.
They score aggressively right from the get-go. And you have players like Imamul Haq, no disrespect to him, Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan, they kind of are batting like the 2000s template. Babar Azam can start slowly and then he can accelerate towards the fag end. But that is just about it. Otherwise, in this modern era, you are not seeing Pakistan notch up 350 or 400 on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Like how England or Australia do. So, India have that chance. And that is why lack of game time, I would say, maybe, okay, the Afghanistan series, the conditions did not allow you to go bang bang. Maybe in the likes of Hambantota and in Colombo, they didn't go bang bang because of the conditions. But still, if Pakistan, they last won against India when? 2017, that time they made 339. It needed aggression right from the get-go. Can this Pakistan batting lineup do it?
But again, Siddharth, I'm not, because given the stadium, given the pitch that we're looking at, I'm not too sure if you need that sort of aggression. What you will perhaps need tomorrow is a much more calculated and a measured approach, which by the way works well for this Pakistani batting lineup. It is right up their template, right up the just right up the alley for the likes of a Babar, a Rizwan, an Imam, who like to get their eye in, and perhaps, and as we've seen over the years, having an extra aggressive approach on these slow tracks can actually be counterproductive.
Yeah.
And okay, let's look at Pallekele as a venue.
Yeah.
Okay, India have had great success there. 3 ODIs, won all 3. Okay. Pallekele traditionally, there's pace. Pace, if you look at it, has taken the most wickets in the 34 ODIs. And Nikhil has joined us live from the beautiful Pallekele International Cricket Stadium. And
Is
Nikhil,
he
can you
at the
hear us?
stadium or close to where the practice is happening?
Oh, this is the stadium. Yeah.
I am at the stadium. Unfortunately, I can't see you guys. I would have loved to have seen you guys. I can't. But first and foremost, the most important question: can you guys hear me?
Yes,
We can
we
hear you, and we do sort of see you as well.
We
So
can
yeah,
see you. Yeah, you are I think, at the Rikila Gaskada end, if I am not mistaken, in that Pallekele. International.
Siddharth, the cricket nerd that you are, I don't know which end I am at. What I can tell you is
It's one of the most prominent ends.
That is the media end that you see right there. That's where the media sits. Those are the grass banks that you see all around us, some
Yep.
stands. What you see right behind me there, where you see I'm pointing there, that is the Indian dressing room.
Wow.
So that's where Virat is just went up to after his practice. What you see behind me right here is the Indian team practicing this side, and the other side of the ground, that side, you see another net there further away. I can't zoom in, but further away, that's where the Indian team is practicing. So what's interesting is at the moment that what teams are practicing side by side simultaneously. So that's the interesting bit right now. Then there are the other practice facilities where I was coming live a short while ago interviewing Harbhajan Singh and Sunil Gavaskar. That is just right next to it. Like you just come out of the playing area and you walk there. So just behind this are the other nets that you have. Those are also outdoor nets where certain Indian players are practicing. Rohit just went there to practice a bit more after doing some drills here and practicing in that center nets that they made. And you also have indoor nets in case it was going to rain, but luckily it hasn't rained. So in that sense, the teams have practiced. In fact, I know a lot of you will ask me the weather update, and it hasn't rained throughout the day today in Pallekele. It rains in Kandy, and remember the video I did early in the morning on Sports Today, which was the start of the day, that, you know, all the weather predictions that we come up with, especially Siddharth, you will check out all the websites and weather apps and everything. Most weather predictions are centered around Kandy, and no surprise there because that's the big town. That's where, you know, you'll have the Met department putting in their radars to measure whether it'll rain or not. But Pallekele, being on the outskirts, a much smaller town, you really don't have too many radars here or measurement systems. So what you do is you extrapolate the information that you get of Kandy to Pallekele. And so when it's going to rain in Kandy, we quite often say it's going to be raining here in Pallekele as well. It doesn't quite happen that way. So Pallekele remains dry. Giving an example, yesterday it was rain predicted in Kandy, and it was raining in Kandy. I was there, but the match here in Pallekele continued between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, and expect a lot of that maybe tomorrow. So the weather prediction might have rain, but it'll keep raining in the beautiful hill town of Kandy. Here, a little lower than Kandy in Pallekele, you might still see a lot of cricketing action. At best, the rain that we've got has been, you know, what they call in the UK spitting, which is less than even a drizzle, slightly less than a drizzle. That's what you sometimes get, which doesn't really interrupt any sort of play. It's even happening now, a few droplets here and there, and it's been like that for the last couple of hours, but that's how it used to or tends to stay here. So not much to worry. I hope I'm bringing in some good news for all of you guys there.
Nikhil, in the press conference that was there, Rohit Sharma and Babar Azam, if we look at it, you attended both of their press. Rohit Sharma, we all saw that, okay, it was a typical Rohit press conference where he didn't reveal much. He said that picking the 11 will be our major challenge. Now, how much can we make out of that statement that he said? Lot of middle order batters to choose upon. Was that the major talking point among the press corps that were there? Oh, it is easy. It is present as a big headache. Picking the 11.
No. So I think, and I asked that question in the press conference, very specific about the three spinners. That's what I wanted to know, because I pretty much know what the batting order is going to be like. So that's not really the talking point. You pretty much know the batting order that India is going to go with. You will have Surya Kumar Yadav sit out and Sanju Samson sit out, and you will have a Shreyas Iyer play and Ishan Kishan play. That is pretty much certain. And even as I talk to you, man, Rohit Sharma right here. Can you see him there? There he is. I don't know if you can see him. There he's walking. He's just there. He's walking. He's just finished his nets and he's just walking right here. So that's him. Just finished his practice. There he's heading. Virat, as I mentioned, just went up a short while ago. Ravindra Jadeja is headed to the center nets and he is going to be practicing. So as you can see, you know, those nets on one side, center wicket, India practicing. Right next to it, it's about 10-meter gap between the two nets, and you have the Pakistan team practicing. So just a 10-meter gap between the two teams, and they're practicing side by side, and that's very interesting. It's happened before. It's not that it's happening for the first time. It happens before, but it's a very rare occasion that you get to see both teams practicing at the same time. Usually one team practices, then they go back, the other one comes. But it's very rare both teams are practicing side by side at the same time. So that's the interesting bit. As far as the press conference, Siddharth, you know, middle order is pretty much done. I think the talk is more around spinners, and I asked him that direct question. However, I did not receive a direct answer. Obviously, they don't want to, you know, show all their cards at the moment, and you will get to know about what they play a little later. But what he did say, and I think two very interesting points that Rohit spoke about in that particular press conference. One about you know, the conditions, so which is a clear-cut indication as to India's approach. We saw in the game here earlier that slow pitch meant that, you know, batting, stroke making is not very conducive. So to that, Rohit said that, yes, I've been talking about we want to change the way we play. You have to take the game head on. That means play aggressive cricket. But he said you also have to respect the conditions, which was sort of an admission that here probably the Indian team will change that approach. He said we have enough experience in the team, enough experience in players who have played in these sort of conditions, and I will allow the players to take that call. So when an experienced player like Rohit himself is going there, when a Virat is batting there, Shreyas Iyer in that regard is experienced, Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja, all of them. So he says that once they're on the field, they will assess the conditions, and if they feel that it is a slower track, which means the par total then comes down, then they change that approach. It doesn't have to be one size fits all sort of an approach that we want to play aggressive, we'll continue to do that. No, he said that they look at the conditions and then based on that decide how is it that they want to do. So that's one thing I think where Rohit is talking about in terms of their approach or how they are going to be approaching this particular game. That's one thing. The other bit, which is interesting, where he talked about his own batting approach, and I thought that was very interesting, where he says that, yeah, and I think he mentioned it in a recent interview as well, where he said that last couple of years I have been playing that aggressive cricket, taking the game head on, but maybe it is time for me to reassess that and change that, because I think he realizes, he kept talking about experienced batters coming good in big games. Maybe he realizes that, it's between Virat and him, the two most experienced batters who will have to ensure that you win big games. So he's going to change that approach a bit. He's not going to throw cautions to the wind and be careful. Yes, he'll play his strokes, but find that right balance. I think he used the word balance, and I think he's looking to find that balance. And I think that's the best version. If you ask me personally, that's the best version of a Rohit Sharma who finds that particular balance. So I hope he does that, because we all know if he doesn't get out very early, gets a good 40-50, from there on, he gets daddy hundreds, 200s as well. So I think that is the approach that suits Rohit the best. And it's heartening to know that he's realizing that, and that he's now going to work towards finding that right balance in the way he approaches this game. So I think these two were very important points. And then, Rohit being Rohit, you also saw the funny side of Rohit Sharma, where he said that, when we were asked about the Pakistan bowling, and he said, we don't have a Shaheen in our nets or a Haris in our net or a Naseem in our net. So how do we practice against them? We'll practice with the bowlers that we have, but we will draw from our experience of having played all sorts of bowlers in all sorts of conditions and bring that to good use come match day here in Pallekele.
Nikhil, one more thing. There is, I think, a big conundrum on the number 8 situation. Okay. I think heading into this match, will you take a Shardul? Will you take an Aksar? Because Pallekele, if you look at it, pace and spin, it's quite equal. I mean, you saw even in the Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka game, pacers of both teams had success, spinners of both teams had success.
But greater success, Siddharth. Greater success still went to the spinners. Even if you see yesterday, Fizz bowled only 3 overs, and none of the seamers really completed the full quota. Instead, you could see De Silva being brought into the attack around the 10 over mark, and the other spinners completing their full quota. So perhaps this is what we're going to see going forward as well. Nikhil, is there anything, and that's what I want to ask you, is there any inkling that you've been able to pick, let's say, that you could see a third spinner as well tomorrow? Anything that you've been able to gauge from the way, the players have moved around or the way the practice drills have taken place today?
Not much, Harshit, and I blame that all on you, because you made me do a TV show, which means I haven't had any time to really look at any sort of practice, because we had the press conference right after that, we had a television show, and even now if I try and look what's happening, I can't, because I'm live with you guys. So I haven't had that much opportunity, but I'm going to speak to a few of my other friends in the media a little later and really find out what happened in the press conference while I was running helter skelter, doing the press conference, then the TV show, and then live with you now, and then shortly I'll be live on AajTak as well. So no, I haven't been able to see all of that, but I don't. All I'll say is that if you don't see 3 spinners playing now, then I don't think you'll see 3 spinners playing for India at all. Because if you're going to be condition specific, then no better place than this to play those 3 spinners. You have to play 3 spinners here. If by any chance India does not go with an Akshar, goes with a Shardul or another fast bowler, 3 out and out fast bowlers, then I doubt during the World Cup you'll any time see 3 spinners play. Then I think what Akshar will be just a backup for Jadeja. The day Jadeja is not available, Akshar comes in. I think that will be his role. He won't feature in the 11 if he's not to play here tomorrow. If you ask me, There is another approach that teams can take, play their best bowling lineup. A lot of teams do that. They say, forget the conditions. Sometimes we are dictated by the conditions. They can fall wrong. Let's go with the best bowling options that we have and go with our 5 best bowlers. A lot of other countries have done that in the past. If India were to do that, then I wouldn't be surprised. And if you ask me their best bowling lineup, that does not feature an Akshar Patel. That probably does not even feature Shardul Thakur. You ask me the 5 best bowlers, irrespective of the balance, irrespective of the conditions, ask me that. I'll name you that right now. Mohammad Shami, Mohammad Siraj, Jasprit Bumrah, Ravindra Jadeja, Kuldeep Yadav. That's your best bowling lineup. Yes, then you have to look at the combination. Then you maybe look at a Shardul and remove a Shami / Siraj. Or you look at the condition, then you remove a Shami / Siraj and bring in a spinner in Akshar Patel. That's left for the Indian team to decide. But there are 2 approaches. Conditions will dictate Akshar comes in. Balance will dictate Shardul comes in. But if you're going to look at balance and conditions both, then also Akshar comes in. But if you're going to look at 5 best bowlers to play, no place for Akshar, no place for Shardul. I've told you which my 5 best bowlers are for India.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it for the balance sake, and if you have to look at for the composition sake, I mean, playing 2 similar players in Jaddu
and Akshar
just doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Just doesn't make sense, because I can understand if Jadeja was a bit 50-50, then you could have to slot in Akshar anyways. But at his expense, not having the same, because again, who is the better bat? That's what we want at number 8, right? Who's the better bat amongst Akshar and Shardul? We are not looking at...
And what's your answer there?
I would have to say for the balance sake, it's Shardul.
For balance sake, again, see, you're putting on a lens over there. You're looking at now balance. If you're just looking, bat for bat, then perhaps I think the answers are...
But again, limited sample size. Akshar may have done well in IPL and red ball cricket, but not so much in white ball cricket. Where has he gotten the chances?
Exactly. But again, you are applying that logic for other players as well. They've shown you promise in another format. You're trusting them here as well. You give Surya Kumar Yadav a long rope. All of that. See, again, you are stuck. You are stuck. In fact, Nikhil, just want to get your thoughts there earlier on as well. Okay, we seem to be having some sort of network issue with Nikhil. We'll try getting him back. But, and Siddharth, since you weren't there yesterday, we had that debate going on here. Nikhil had earlier said that he's very clear. Of course, Ishan plays. We all know that. He says he's very clear where he plays as well. What are your thoughts?
I'm not so sure.
You're saying it's still 50-50 whether he plays or not?
He will play.
Where he plays?
What position?
Where if you were to slot him in?
Look, if he plays, you will...
I want a straight answer.
Number 5.
Number 5?
There is no other position. And you're batting him out of position yet again. Now, if he opens, which might be a 10% chance, suppose. Shubman bats at 3, Virat
or Rohit bats at 3. Whatever. Either of those things can happen.
Rohit at 4.
Rohit at 3, Virat at 4.
Oh my goodness. That.
See, again, and again, don't want to be getting into the same debate again, because we did exactly that yesterday. So, and I'm pretty sure there's not going to be a lot of people out there who are going to like to see Virat bat at number 4. But it is a situation at hand, let's face it. It is a situation at hand for Team India, because you're going in with somebody you've not seen bat at number 5.
Yeah.
The other guy that you have seen happens to be warming the bench at the moment. So that is something that is going to be, up for thought. And remains to be seen as well. Though, as Sunny ji had earlier pointed out, you may not see that happen at all. But if at all you do, Ishan Kishan, he feels, should be batting at number 6, 7, perhaps be the finisher. That's what Rahul also suggested on this platform yesterday.
What do you do then? You can't bat Rohit.
See, it is a problem you have made for yourself.
Exactly.
You had him score runs somewhere else, but not somebody who you tried having that in that particular position.
I'll tell you one thing. He may succeed. He may succeed.
No, once you play him, you hope he succeeds.
Then what happens? Whether you have a plan B, if he doesn't do well in the World Cup, you don't. You don't, and that is why.
That is a question for anyone.
KL Rahul. That's why KL Rahul's fitness was equally important.
Yeah.
Because if KL was fit,
then no tinkering is needed.
Absolutely. Yeah. He solves 2 problems
at the same time. Yeah.
He solves the balance issue, because he also solves the position issue, because he's always batted in number 5 in ODIs. But with Ishan, now there is a risk. I don't agree with him on the press conference that all issues have been answered. That's what Rohit said. Remember in one of the questions that
Middle order was, yeah.
Jawab milega.
I don't think they know the question so that they can give an answer. They don't know the question. Other, if it is a question on this, there is a plan B, there is a plan C, there is nothing. So basically, Indian cricket team, again as I said, right from day one, they are on a prayer. Every atheist in this World Cup is going to become a theist because of the Indian cricket team. Because everybody's position is like, okay, please, please, let him be fit. Oh, please, 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 let him get form. Oh, please, 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 let him be consistent. For Pakistan, I'll tell you why I have a slight edge on them. Point number 2, stability factor. You know who's going to come. And they have persisted with the score for
the one thing that I like about Pakistan, and we seem to, not just seem to, we get dictated by conditions. Let's not forget what happened at the WTC final. Yeah. One day, the first hour of cloud cover, and we got Shardul Thakur and decided to have Ravichandran Ashwin on the bench. So let's not see, let's say our decisions in the past have been dictated by conditions. It is now going to be interesting to see whether we learn from that or not, because Pakistan, knowing Pakistan, they will always feel, like Nikhil was saying, their best 5 bowlers, and we know who their next best 5 bowlers are. Again, it is something that can backfire at times as well, because remember, in that MCG knock as well, again, or that match, you knew who their 5th bowler is, and you knew who was going to bowl the 18th over and the 20th over. You knew that. So, see, that's something that can backfire as well when you go in with that sort of an approach. But here, if you go with 5, you will still have Hardik Pandya as the 6th bowler.
Talking about, learning from mistakes at the WTC final, we were so focused on learning from the past WTC final that we made a mistake again. You can't.
It is
last time you played an extra spinner.
It is like you are wanting to do prashchit in the wrong place here. Because
no, but that's a lesson now. The 2 wrongs do not make a right.
But that's the problem. India are not learning, and even here, because they don't have the options, they don't have the resources. That's why you will have to field a player who's going to bat out of position, and if he bats in his position normally, others will go out of position.
That's true.
That is a huge.
I really don't think there's any end to this, and we can keep on having this conversation till the cows come home.
Till you pray. No cows coming till you pray, because that's how it is. So,
but before we get into questions, and of course this is something we're going to be talking about tomorrow as well. Again, you can consider this to be an unending stream of sort, because we're going to be bugging you every now and then. Tomorrow is going to be massive in terms of coverage, so stay tuned. Expect Sunny Bhai to join us tomorrow. Expect Harbhajan Singh as well. Nikhil will continue to give us updates from Pallekele. But key figures, let's say. One for India, and you can name the key figure for Pakistan. Who do you guys think are going to be the key figures tomorrow?
For Pakistan, if I have to say the key figure, I would think is Naseem Shah. Because Shaheen is under an injury cloud.
Key figures, multiple.
Yeah, for Pakistan 1, India 1.
Okay.
For Pakistan, I think it's Naseem Shah, because he holds the edge. And for India, I can't look beyond the king.
Virat.
Of course.
Look at him. I mean, when was the last time, a trivia question, when was the last time Virat Kohli had a score less than 50 in white ball cricket against Pakistan? You have to go back to 2017.
That's a long time.
2017 final. 5. He got out for 1. He got out for 1. That's it. Every other score has been double digits, or it's been a 50. So, Virat Kohli versus Naseem Shah or Pakistan or any of the 3 bowlers. See, Shaheen, as I said, Shaheen, Naseem and Haris combined, that bowling unit has played only 1 ODI against India. And only Shaheen has played. Haris hasn't played, Naseem hasn't played. So, Naseem will be the key, because he might have to carry the bowling in the absence of Shaheen, because we don't know how severe his injury is.
But he did come back. He did come back after 7 overs.
Although he didn't bowl, but...
I think for Pakistan, it's going to be between Shaheen, Naseem and Babar.
Okay.
And for India, of course, Virat Kohli, come on. No one else. Or it could be Bumrah as well.
Yeah.
I'd go with Virat.
It will be Kuldeep.
But my shout for Pakistan is Kuldeep's competitor, let's say over there, Shadab. I think India have been prey to some spin bowling in the past. We saw it in the Windies. We've seen it in the recent past. Michael Bracewell also troubled you here, let's not forget. when New Zealand were touring. You got troubled, let's say, in that series against Bangladesh as well. Taijul Islam and Shakib
took a 5-wicket haul. But again, they were all left-handers and Bracewell's an off-spinner.
Exactly. Point I'm trying to make is spin has been a bit of an Achilles heel, let's say, and it is going to be make or break tomorrow as well. So Shadab for me, I know the hype's all around the 3 speedsters that Pakistan have, but again, we're talking about ODI cricket, middle overs dictate most of the match.
And just to give that a credible this thing, Shadab's economy against India is 6.5. And Kuldeep, why he might be the X factor, as a lot of people pointed out, 4.09 economy rate against Pakistan.
And he's been good of late as well. Kuldeep's high on confidence, so he could in fact,
And who can forget the delivery that he bowled
Babar
Azam
21
right through the gate at Old Trafford. Yep. Spun back, not 21.
21 to 10 wickets.
Old Trafford got the ball to spin back in a mile. And
29.
Old Trafford, what a that ball of the World Cup for me. That was
Beautiful.
So that's the situation. But yeah, less than 20 hours to go now for India versus Pakistan, and tomorrow. And as far as the weather is concerned, Nikhil also gave a detailed information about the weather.
Check that video out. In fact, Nikhil's uploaded a video. It's there on the platform. Do check that video out. He very beautifully explains how it is different, let's say, being in Kandy vis-a-vis being in Pallekele, and how it's different. And for those of you joining us right now, and if you're aware of, let's say, the geography in and around Delhi, just to give you an analogy of sorts, being in Delhi is different from being in Noida or Gurgaon. That's how Kandy and Pallekele also work. So if you go ahead and check for weather updates, you're most likely searching for Kandy. Even in Pallekele, let's say, it happens to be, the ground happens to be situated in an area which is a rain shadow area of sorts, which is why you have the game take place yesterday, and you expect the same tomorrow.
Even the Bangladesh-Sri Lanka game, guess what? It was pouring in Kandy. But in Pallekele, just had a minor stoppage.
Minor stop.
And remember, the ground staff are immediately out and they cover the entire ground. If the rain stops within 15 minutes, you can get playback.
Yeah.
That's how efficient the Sri Lankan ground staff are. So, rain playing a part in the India-Pakistan game tomorrow, it's not happening. I think you're going to see a full game. Uninterrupted, I'm not so sure, but you're going to see a full game.
Yeah.
Actually. So, that is the situation of India versus Pakistan. Forget the rain, forget all that doomsday thing. 80% chances, but maybe Pallekele doesn't come under the 80% chance. It's in a 20% area where there is no rain forecast. So, that's the situation when it comes to India versus Pakistan. Let's take some questions. And I will start with GGK, who has been forever at odds because Sanju Samson has not been picked and mostly he'll not play. I think we need a plan C, that is Sanju at 5, as I had told you. It is better than KL or Ishan and solves headache of middle order wicketkeeper who plays spin well and give aggression in a conservative batting unit. GGK, I'll agree with you on 3 sentences. Okay. It is better than KL or Ishan and solves headache of middle order wicketkeeper. Absolutely 300% agree. But it comes with a disclaimer, if KL is fit, Sanju can't play. Because KL has won games there.
Firstly, Sanju's not in the reckoning. We know that now.
I don't agree with you on the fact that who plays spin well. Leg spinners have troubled Sanju Samson a lot. Just ask Wanindu Hasaranga, and here you've got Shadab and Mohammad Nawaz.
Yeah.
Shadab a leg spinner, Nawaz a left armer. So, quite a big problem, GGK. But I think it is going to be a big problem.
I think we had a super chat as well.
That was just some love. First super chat.
There was just some love. From Bridge.
From Bridge. Yeah. Was it? Brudge, not Bridge.
Bridge.
No, it's
Brudge. I.
तो Braj Bhushan.
So how do you spell it? So that's also BRIJ.
It looked as if the bridge, I was like confused with that. So, okay. Rookie Techie is saying this is the strategy that India should employ. If India plays new ball well and India should score 250 on the same pitch, it is just Babar Azam wicket. They will hardly chase. They means Pakistan will hardly chase 200, 250. Shaheen new ball versus India, not Pak versus India. I kind of agree with him because even in the game against Nepal, if you had seen Harshit and Gargi, the new ball wasn't sprayed around by Shaheen and Naseem. So, if India can just keep their cool, they can capitalize on it. And remember, Rohit did survive in that 2019 match in Old Trafford. He saw out the new ball, that's it. 140 runs and India made over 300.
Yeah. The one thing, and I think that is where Pakistan could possibly panic. Of course, the talk around, in both the countries, let's say, at the moment is about the Indian batters versus Shaheen and Harris. In particular, just Shaheen about the threat that he poses as well. So, having said that, I think, like you said, if India are to go in with that calculated and a measured approach, let's just see him out, think that's where Pakistan panic.
Yeah.
Because they also look at Shaheen as their wicket-taking bowler.
Yeah.
If he can't give them wickets right away, I think that is where some panic buttons will be pressed.
The legend of Shaheen taking a wicket in the very first over, I think that's what
21.
Pakistan really rides on.
Even now, consistently, I think he's taken a wicket in the first over, I think close to 10 times.
Yeah.
If that's the case in white ball cricket. And even in the game against Nepal, went
He
for
did.
runs, but he got a wicket in the first over. I think got
And
two.
that was also on not a good ball.
Yeah, wasn't it? So, a terrible ball.
Yeah.
So, that is why India just needs to hold their cool.
Yep.
If they can survive that new ball spell, and remember Pakistan in the field, although they fielded well against Nepal, on the field they are very pedestrian. I'm sorry, Pakistan as far as catching is concerned have always enjoyed a lot of butterfingers in their own way. So that will be a problem. Sachin Kashyap, I have seen today net session Rohit and Gill batter and Kuldeep and Sky bowled to both batters. That's pretty good. That's very good. If that means Kuldeep is in peak rhythm, we would hope that he's in that frame of mind in not just this game until November 19th.
Yes.
Because that's the world. 19th is the
19th is the final.
19th is the
19th is the
Any
final.
other questions, Shivam? Can we just go for it? India has no off spinner and leg spinner in Sri Lanka conditions. Sandeep Kumar. But again, you have a wrist spinner. Okay, left arm wrist spinner in
Chinaman.
Kuldeep.
Yeah.
I don't want to correct Chinaman for the other things, but no off spin. I think in ODIs nowadays, Sandeep, I think we have looked past an off spinner because of the field restrictions and all that. That's why. Varun Parvatneni saying toss is going to be key, folks. But Varun, if you listen to Rohit Sharma's PC, he said it doesn't look like win toss and win match kind of a condition.
Oh.
That's what he reckoned at that point. So I don't think the toss will be key. Toss could be key in the UAE where you bat second, you win. That is the situation. Whoever wins the toss, they're going to chase. Same for UAE.
Even yesterday, Shakib did mention that, it wasn't a 300 kind of wicket, but had they put on 220, 230 also, they could have really made a match out of it. And guess what? They did pick 5 wickets, Bangladesh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So imagine if they had that cushion of another 50, 60 runs, it really could have been a nail biter.
Yep. The Nagin Derby could have gone on and on until the thriller. But yes, luckily it didn't happen. So, yep, Bangladesh have not made a good start. And remember, their next game is also tricky against Afghanistan.
Yeah.
One of those, if they win and hope, if Afghanistan lose to Sri Lanka, then Bangladesh could make it to the Super Fours. Remember, last year they were denied because of a no ball, Bangladesh. So, that's the situation, my friends. And any other questions, Shivam? Which one?
Which one?
G already took GGK's question.
Yeah.
Oh, GGK has gone on like a rail announcer here. Yeah, Rookie
I
Techie.
think,
Okay, but
that's
Rookie Techie and SD Roy AGT were all discussing about the World Cup 2019 semi-final.
There's a comment by a sports fan. He's
Yeah.
very disappointed with the Indian management, I think. He says, Sanju will not play even if the 11 players get injured.
It's his luck, I'm telling you. It's really a big Rookie Techie. Yeah, ball is swinging under lights so much in all recent games in SL. Not the same in first innings. But Rookie Techie, that's what I'm saying. It's a very
Tricky.
strange conundrum.
Yeah.
Pallekele has gotten more wickets by pacers, but their economy is bad. Spinners have taken less, but their economy is excellent. So what do you make of this Pallekele wicket? I just don't
Curious
understand.
case of Pallekele.
Yeah. Saad Jawad, I think you don't follow Pakistan because last 2 years Pakistan has one of the best fielding sides. Agreed, Saad. I mean, they've
improved.
They've improved.
But I think, even then, Siddharth and I did mention just a short while back, Saad, if you think we're being, a little unfair to Pakistan over there, we mentioned that, they click certain things and perhaps not in the fielding department that much, but they do some things right in the batting and the bowling department, which actually gives them a slender edge, in fact, over India. That's what Siddharth and I also mentioned. But I think we can say this with a lot of conviction that there's only one team that is better when it comes to the fielding department, and that's India. It's not about favoring India or anything. If that was the case, we wouldn't have made that earlier point as well. But there is one outright favorite when it comes to the fielding department, that has to be the Indian team.
Yep. Sandeep Kumar has thrown us a trick question. Give your prediction, unbiased answers only. But then your question itself is biased. If I pick something, you'll say, oh, you don't support India. If we pick something else, it's the obvious. But okay, give your prediction based on current form, conditions. Pakistan have a slight edge. They also want to end their Asia Cup nightmare against India. Not won for over a decade against them in the ODI format. I mean, lost in 2010, lost in 2012, 18 lost 2 games. Now, let's see if they can do it. But slightest of slight edges to Pakistan. And it's not by the color by which I'm wearing today. Please don't bias me on that. So, Gargi?
No, even when I'm unbiased, I would say India.
I think I've said it. I've been saying this for a while now. I think Pakistan have this slight edge. But that doesn't mean that they win tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, see, it will be a very close game.
Prediction, na?
Yeah, prediction.
Who will win?
The prediction tomorrow.
Yep.
I'll make the prediction just ahead of the match.
Yeah. So, KL GGK. So, KL will be selected on September 5 without playing a full match. Is he such a big match player? Who's our aggressive batter in middle order?
Go back, GGK. I'll say GGK, go back. Don't hear it from us. Hear it from Sunny Bhai.
Yes.
Sunny just shared his thoughts here on Dugout. He mentioned as to what you should do with that deadline also looming large as far as the World Cup team is concerned. So go back
day after tomorrow
and check that out.
Yeah.
Or on September 4th. Depends. So, so shall we all now prepare for India-Pakistan tomorrow?
Saran says, please just shut shop now. Got a long day tomorrow.
Saad Jawad, I did the video on those rank the battles. Please check out Sports Today. Subscribe to that. So, yep, that is the situation we have on right now. More content coming your way. India-Pakistan tomorrow. Big game in the Asia Cup.
Yeah.
So, let's count down to that. From me, Gargi and Harshad, it's bye-bye. More videos coming your way. Virat's 47th. Could happen.